Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Stu Smith here, going live. Hope you are well this Monday morning. We are going to do another live Q&A show. And after we speak just a little bit about what I titled this this video. And if you can see, turning athletes into tactical athletes is the title. I've written about this before, but I also saw it this week and I wanted to share what I saw. So we're doing just a normal workout on Saturday. No big deal. It's leg day, a little bit of carries in there, throw in some fireman carries, some farmer walks, mixed with squats and lunges and some running, a little bit of weighted running as well. And I see a cross country team running on the trail we use, and they're always there on Saturday mornings, and they're running past us. And it just so happened that one of my guys, in fact, I made a post to this, one of my guys is fireman carrying his buddy 100 yards, and he's on his last 50 yards, and these cross country team was coming up fast, right? They were going to pass him, but for that 50 yards, he made it a point that nobody was passing him. And I just thought it was kind of a funny scene because he was sprinting with a guy on his back. Probably not the best idea, but once again, we all do silly things in the moment. But he did it. He got past it, and I just got to thinking. I said, "There's the difference right there. These guys could probably kick our butts on any timed run that we're doing. In fact, their slowest guy is probably faster than our fastest guy, even though we have some, 8:15 mile and a halfers that can get after it. That's not a big deal to a cross country kid who can run sub 5 for many more miles than a mile and a half. But the other activities, they're not very good at. Putting someone on their back probably would challenge them. They might be able to get it done, but they may feel some pain for a couple of days. Put them under a pull-up bar. Not so good unless they've practiced some muscle stamina exercises and put a little bit of body strength on there. But for the most part, upper body's weak, great runners. Load bearing capacity is weak, still great runners. And sometimes they're horrible swimmers too because they've never done a lot of swimming. And then they think because they can run a sub 5-minute mile that they're going to be in swimming shape, and they're sorely disappointed just because it's bad technique and they're just exhausted. So there's a whole lot of things going on whenever we train athletes that are coming into a tactical profession. And mainly it's weaknesses. So every athlete has something they're really good at, or they wouldn't be athletes. They wouldn't have made a team. They wouldn't have gone from high school to college sports and even beyond that if they weren't really good, and we'll say great, at a particular element of fitness, whether it's strength, power, speed, agility, hand-eye coordination. All of those things are going to make you a better athlete on the field when you're competing. However, when you make that transition going into a tactical profession, and we've had many football players, even pro football players, get prepared for special ops training, and that transition was quite a journey. Over a year and a half, get out of the weight room, and they're still stronger than anybody in the group, even after a year and a half of not lifting. But they're getting faster. They're able to run more, swim more, ruck all day. And now it's just a matter of building up their muscle stamina. So it takes some time. So my answer to someone who's training athletes who are trying, or you're an athlete preparing to transition into a tactical profession and special ops especially, is that you need to assess yourself across the board, not just test what you're good at. The PST is a great start. You might find that you need some strength and muscle stamina. You might find you need to learn how to swim better, um, get comfortable in the water, do other things. You might find you need to run faster. That's a great test to assess multiple elements of fitness. However, there's more. You need to be strong. You need to have some speed and agility, mainly for obstacle courses and uh, load bearing activities that are beyond rucking, boats, logs, people, all of those things require some strength foundation and training and some specifics to focus on that weakness. And that's really what seasonal tactical fitness training is all about, is we, periodize or budget throughout the year all the elements of fitness that you need to master. And there's certain elements of fitness that go well together. Muscle stamina and endurance. Like right now, we are in the summer peak cals and cardio cycle, and we are running a lot, high reps, muscle stamina, endurance, run, ruck, swim, all of those activities, and they're all progressing pretty nicely together. Now, every fourth week, we'll stop. We'll do a little deload from the reps and the distance, do a little lifting just to maintain some strength. I've found that block periodization model works really well for that about every fourth or fifth week. Just when you need a break, because you don't want a progression in miles and reps to be perfectly linear. You want some flat spots. It's nice to go linear, but sometimes the body just doesn't agree with you, and it needs a little flat line or maybe even a dip, depending on your newness to high volume. And then in the winter, we focus on the strength and the power, shorter distance running for speed, agility, shuttle runs, all those little things, obstacle courses, all those things are very helpful for training in that components of fitness. And however, we will take a little break about every fourth week, do a little deload from the lifts, and focus on cals and cardio. Once again, it's a great process. In fact, this is that program. We're increasing strength and crushing PST. This is our fall transition. Whenever we fall after the summer, we're going to start, after this ramp up, we're going to start deloading a little bit from the miles and the reps, but we're going to start it off by adding weight. And that's going to force us to do fewer reps, work on a little bit of a strength muscle stamina combo. We'll focus on shorter but faster runs, and eventually we'll get transitioned into that winter where we're just lifting more, running a little bit less, but still figuring it all out. So you don't have any weaknesses at the end of the year that you have ignored. That's the ideal methodology to this type of training, because unfortunately what a lot of athletes will do is they will double down on their strengths and ignore weaknesses. And I promise you that will be exposed in the first day of training. You might not even get to Hell Week just because it's going to be exposed really early. So don't blow off things that you suck at, because we all did. Whenever you're making this journey, we're all beginners at something new. And if you've grown up all your life running and nothing else, you're going to have some weaknesses. If you've grown up lifting and playing football all your life and nothing else, you're going to have some weaknesses. Just the way it works. You have to be honest with yourself, assess yourself, and then work on those weaknesses. Oh, all right, folks. I may have not signed on to Instagram during all of that, so I apologize for you folks that are just coming in on Instagram right now. I just gave a good introduction on turning athletes into tactical athletes. You can see that over at my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is not the same as my Instagram channel. In fact, it's Stu50 Smith. instead of Stu Smith 50. So apologize I didn't hit the live button over on my Instagram during that 10-minute introduction. But check it out over on YouTube. It'll be live, and it'll be in the live section, posted up there for good. In fact, I may even post this one on Instagram afterwards in the story, and you can catch up on the first 10 minutes because it's pretty important. Whether you're an athlete or not, you need to understand that process of don't ignore weaknesses. All right. So Joe asked, are you still able to rope climb? Yeah, we have a rope right outside where we train, and we do rope climbs. Nothing hard, especially if you know how to climb rope. Now, there's two ways to climb rope. There's the way where you don't waste a lot of energy and you actually squat up the rope using your legs. And then there's don't use your legs and you just gorilla grip it all the way up. The second is just hard. It's good to do maybe once. Great for grip, great for upper body. But the first one is the way you do it if you want to save your grip and be able to do multiple sets. I mean, there's no reason why you can't do 10 sets of rope climbs mixed in with some runs and some other exercises, as long as you're being efficient with your rope climbing and using that. The method I recommend is using the J-hook method. Probably the easiest. Let's see. If you develop UCL pain in your arm, how long should you stop a powerlifting cycle? Oh, that's a tough one, Ryan. It kind of depends. If it's a tendonitis, you may find that, some warming up, some pull, push, exercises may warm it up to where you're not feeling any pain. But then once it cools down, you're going to start feeling pain again, and that kind of sucks. That's pretty much an indicator that it's tendonitis. Now, if it just hurts regardless of what you're doing, it may be something more than tendonitis or a really bad case of tendonitis to where moving it is really painful. So my advice is anti-inflammatories, compression sleeves. You can even put ice on it just for pain relief. But the goal is to try to get the inflammation out of your arm so you're just a little bit better off with moving without pain. My advice is just judge it. If you're in pain to move it, I wouldn't be lifting heavy. Or maybe change your lifts a little bit so it doesn't involve that muscle tendons. Have you ever seen anybody make significant running gains by lower body strength training? I'm a swimmer and have good swim and row time, but poor run time. Could this be lower body strength deficit? It could be. If you're not accustomed to running, or new to running, having a foundation of strength is never going to hurt you. However, if you're a classic strength guy, you need to do more stuff like you're doing. Swimming, rowing, running is a great try combo that's 2/3 non-impact, 1/3 impact running. So maybe. My advice is just, add some squats and lunges to it because, it's a combination of muscle stamina and endurance as well. And you will put on some strength. You put some dumbbells in your hands or sandbags or weight vest on, do squats and lunges. That'll put on some strength as well. But it's not like super heavy strength that's going to slow you down either. At least over many years of trying this, when I lift super heavy or I've seen people lift super heavy, they find, and they're running a lot, they just get good at neither. Like they do not get stronger and they do not get faster with their runs. They're just kind of staying still, or they may get better at one and not the other. it's hard to improve both. That's why, like, whenever I was talking before, talking the elements of fitness that work real well together are strength, power, speed, and agility. That's like really fast running, not timed run mileage. Um, and then, muscle stamina and endurance, and multiple modes of endurance: run, ruck, swim, bike, row, whatever you fancy. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you think you have a strength deficit, then by all means, a foundation of fitness is going to help you. A foundation of strength is going to help you tremendously in your transition to becoming a tactical athlete, because you got to get good at everything. So my advice would be to probably do, something like this, fall winter lift cycle. This is a good combo too. Fall winter lift cycle, and you're focusing on PST every fourth week as well. So it's a good mix. Morning Stu, do you think adding a mobility day or two before SOAS would be good? Yeah, sure. I mean, mobility days are never a bad thing to add, especially if you're going to mix in some pool skills along that. So, after your mobility session on bikes and rowing machines and stretching and foam rolling, just getting any aches out, go into the pool, do your treading, do your drown proofing, um, other pool skills that involve technique, swimming. Um, and you'll feel a lot better for that, and you'll at least feel like you did something versus just taking a day off. So that's what I would do. And remember, so as SEAL officer assessment and selection, it's not that hard that first week. You're getting an introduction to the community, um, learning about what they do, how they operate, getting a tour of the facilities. Then the hard stuff starts. You start off with the PST, probably, day 6 or 7. Um, and then you go through like a little mini hell week for 5 or 6 days. Um, so that first week is kind of the taper, if that makes sense. But yeah, add in add in some mobility day and swimming if you need to. Can weak hip abductors lead to decreased range of motion? Sorry, let me turn off this beeper. Can weak hip abductors lead to decreased range of motion? Sure. Probably some kind of an imbalance would definitely lead to that. I'm having a hard time treading using egg beater technique because of mobility. Well, that's very common. Have you read my article on mobility and treading? Because it's real. Oh, by the way, this article here, I'm going to put this here in case you guys on Instagram missed my 10-minute introduction on tactical athlete. This is the article I spoke of, kind of gave a synopsis about. But for you guys on the mobility side, treading might be a mobility issue. If you haven't seen this article, you got to check it out, because one, it is life changing. Not only will it help you with, treading, it'll even help you with swimming and getting a better kick for swimming. You do some mobility work on your shoulders, you get some better streamline activity going. Highly recommend adding more mobility. Whether you have weak or strong hip abductors, doesn't matter. Add mobility, stretch it out, work it out. I mean, here's the one thing. Yes, mobility is very important when you're doing like egg beater, for an example, but also working those glutes, um, to be able to get those hips up without the ground pushing it up. Like if you're doing the frog pose, yeah, gravity is putting you in that frog pose. But whenever you are in the water, you have nothing that is pushing up on your legs to get you in a perfect breaststroke egg beater kick. So you have to rely on your your leg and hip muscles and butt muscles to get them up there. The mobility is one thing, but then the backside, strength side of those muscles need to also be occurring. Oh, let's see. Any more questions here? All right. Advice on combating calf tightness. Oh man, I get calf tightness every day. Should see these calves. Big calves get tight, especially when you're running a lot, and I am. I usually actually stop a couple of times during a longer run just to stretch calves. I'll do some hamstring, hip stretches, thigh stretches too, but primarily my calves get tight. So I usually just stretch that area, and you do it two ways. I don't like compression sleeves; they don't help me. Um, maybe they're just too tight. Um, but my advice would be to do two types of calf stretches. One, straight-legged calf stretch, and you're going to feel that you're probably in the middle of your calf, normal calf behind the knee, and then do a bent knee calf stretch, and you're going to feel that closer into the Achilles and where that um, turns into the soleus gastroc muscle. So yeah, two calves stretches, bent knee and straight knee. Lean up against a wall. Try to get that angle going, but don't stretch too hard. I've seen some people pull little calf muscles, some of the digitalis muscles as well. I've done it, stretching too hard. So make sure you're warmed up. I usually run a mile before I stretch my calves, and then I'm good for several more. How was my fourth? It was great. We actually just had a great workout on the fourth. Did a little cookout. Steaks were on sale. Blew up a lot of steaks, hamburgers, hot dogs, good stuff. Let's see. Can I get and stay fast swimming the 50-50 only 3 days a week? Probably. I mean, my advice is add more sets if you're only doing it 3 days a week. Maybe add another 5-10 sets of 50-50s. So you swim longer on those 3 days versus maybe just 40 minutes of swimming. You might get an hour and a half of swimming. I think that is probably what you're going to have to almost kind of make up for missed swimming, because it is about volume and getting laps in, get you in shape. Let's see. Brax, it's technique first and then conditioning second. Next thing you know, you're crushing 500s and then 2 miles with fins. Let's see. How can I get and stay fast swimming? Oh, yeah, I think you already just increase volume. Yeah, didn't we just? Yeah, I just answered that. All right, what else we got over here? Um, Ryan's doing the notes and synopsis for me for every comment. Very good. Let me see if you got it down. So, make a transition to tactical athletes. Example: football players, cross country athletes can transition alike. Kind of. They need to work on their weakness, maybe doing exactly the opposite. Assess yourself. Don't just test what you're good at. Yeah. That's good synopsis. Be strong, have strength, agility, foundation, be involved in periodization, seasonal routine. Yep, I would recommend that, Ryan. Good job. Don't ignore weaknesses. That's the biggest thing. I promise you ignore weaknesses, they will be exposed on you. And it's just another thing that you're going to have to engage mental toughness on versus, just putting out and doing well. You're going to have to really suck it up and bring your A game mentally and physically if you have a weakness that is borderline failing. Don't double down on strengths. Yep. Increase strength, crush PST, seasonal tactical fitness periodization models. Got a couple of different models out there. They all work. Um, and I will tell you this, that every 4th week deload is very helpful. And it seems like the body just needs it. Like right now, we're in our 3rd week of our cals and cardio increase, and we're increasing a lot. Next week will be our little deload, and looking forward to that, actually. Lifting a little bit, a little less running. We still get after it. I mean, we'll get probably, I don't know, 15, 20 miles versus close to 30. All right, let's see what else we got. What kind of track work do you have in your books? I have some, and you can do any of these on a track. Unfortunately, our track doesn't have a pull-up bar near, so we do most of our work that we would do on a track on a bike trail, which is paved. It's not a rubberized track, but here's a sample track workout that I'm working on now. So we run over to the track from where we park our cars. Takes about a mile to get to the track. So it's a nice little warm-up mile. We'll do some toe touches, squats along the way, little half pyramid to 10. So it's an easy jog over there. And then we'll get there and we'll immediately go into running bleachers. And that's usually a 10 or 15 minute nonstop run bleachers till the time's up. Then we go to the track. Then we do this thing I call 100 hundreds, which is not 100 hundreds, it's 10 sets of 100 hundreds. It looks like this. You run 100 fast, jog back 100, and every minute on the minute, you got to do that 100. So it's not that hard, but you can make it hard. You can run really fast, jog really slow, get back at about 50, 55 seconds, and now you got to do it again. So we usually do that for the first portion of the workout, and then depending on where everybody is, we may give people options on this. We'll do like 6 400s at goal pace with a 100-meter walk in between. We'll do 3 800s with a 100 to 200-meter walk in between the 800s, and we'll do a mile repeat twice, depending on where. So you'll pick one of those 3. Sometimes we'll do 2. We'll do like 6 400s and 3 800s, and then time that mile running back, to where we parked. So all in all, it gets up to about 6 miles of running. That's in our high running model week, like the summer. In the winter, it's more shuttle runs, 100 hundreds. Sometimes we'll just do 50 50s. And work really on speed versus pace, if that makes sense. But yeah, those are some of the workouts that I post on. These are not in books right now, but they're on my membership site where you get our weekly workouts emailed to you. They're generic. They're our workouts that we're doing, Spec Ops, and we also have a beginner section over there. If you go to stewsmithfitness.com and see the members section, what you'll find there is some pretty good stuff. You'll find a course on getting to and through selection, which I sell for like $200. You also have a 5 years of workouts in a database that you can have access to. And then every week you get an email with my weekly workout for beginner and advanced Spec Ops level stuff. And you'll get the latest video I made the week, and 3 articles that I wrote that week, all in one little format. It's a member section. If you're interested in that kind of weekly feedback, you should check it out. It's not a bad gig. Um, let's see. Jeff Nichols has been going off on SEALs who've been saying you need to run 70 miles a week. I agree with him. I don't think you need to run that much. Yeah, it's horrible to run. I mean, I've never run that much, ever. Now, there have been people that have and did fine. There have been people that have and didn't do fine. So my my biggest problem with running 70 miles a week is, one, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, and it's hard to maintain your mass when you're running that much, and you need mass, especially that first 4 weeks, getting through Hell Week and being cold. I don't recommend running that much. I don't even recommend running 50 miles a week. In fact, I'll pull people back down into the 30s and 40s, but make those runs a little bit faster. You might be able to do a long, slow distance run once a week if you really want to. Most people, I just have them do non-impact cardio for their cardio-based stuff, instead of adding another 10 miles to their week. But there's multiple ways to do it. Jeff has more of a speed approach to it. I have more of a paced approach to it. And there are some that have more of a zone 2 approach to it. To be honest with you, I don't have an answer on which is better. Kind of your preference. I will tell you this, though. I don't think 70 is needed. I don't think 50 is needed. So I'm somewhere between that 25 and 40 mile range is sufficient. Good question, though. I've been a land athlete with stamina to swim 1760 mile free continuously now. Good. However, CSS feels off due to a weak kick and breathing issues. Best spot to send you a CSS review. Yeah, send me a CSS. You can either DM me on my Instagram or send it to me, stu@stewsmith.com. In fact, I'll put a banner up here, right here. You see my email come across, stu@stewsmith.com. And I'll happy to critique it for you. I feel like running 70 miles at a pace you need to be training at is just too much load for the body. Oh, I would agree. Even if you're doing 50% of it at zone 2, it's too much. So anyway, that's one of the guys. I will tell you this. People who run 70 miles a week are probably great runners who are doubling down on their running strength and ignoring strength issues that they may be having, ignoring swimming issues they may be having. Because it's hard to do that much running and add in swimming and lifting and calisthenics. You need to be like professional athlete almost. Currently running 6-day powerlifting split, but I'm about to start doing your Army training book. How much should I reduce my powerlifting training? I be honest with you, I would take a break from powerlifting. Seriously. And I'll do so focus on your cals and cardio, so your endurance and muscle stamina with an endurance muscle stamina cycle. You can interrupt that progress with a powerlifting cycle mixed in there too much. Now, once you're good at everything, you can maintain it all together. You can run, you can lift, you can swim, right? You're just trying to maintain a high level of fitness. That's easy. But to improve on things that you're not good at, you really need to focus on those things you're not good at. Put the things you're really good at doing on the back burner and either give it a break for a cycle, 6, 8, 12 weeks, or I'll make a compromise with you. You can do it like we do in this. This one. This one is a block periodization model where you do your cows and cardio for 3 weeks, then take a week off and do your powerlifting split for a week, right? Just see where your numbers are, play around, give yourself a little deload, maybe throw in a few runs in there, maybe a ruck, but then go back into 3 and 1, 3 and 1. So 3 weeks cows and cardio, 1 week lifting. You'll see some progress with that versus mixing it all together and trying to get good at everything all at once. How can I quickly get back into running shape after a long break? Progressively is what I would recommend. I would probably start off running every other day, biking and swimming on days in between. Maybe just starting off with 5 miles a week, and then progress 15% each week after that, as long as you're not hurt. But try to get a lot of cardio done on the non-impact scale versus running more. Get more cardio without the impact. Just to where, so you don't have the newness of it all. And, if you're new to running, chances are shin splints are going to occur, feet pain is going to occur, knee tendonitis going to occur, maybe even pulled muscles, depending on type of running you're doing. So, progress logically. 15% each week. I heard from SOF Prep and SOCOM Athlete and others that fin work is great. Oh yeah, you got to be doing it. Do you recommend fin work than the CSS? I've been doing lots of fin work, but feel like I need more CSS. Fin work is easy. My advice is this. We just do fin work on leg days. You look at any one of these workouts, we're adding fins on the days we do legs. It's a great way to do it. That way you get fins in twice a week. You don't need to fin every day. On upper body days, we're just swimming. How many miles is a good range for bike and swim per week? Yeah, I don't really have an answer for that. I would say more time. Biking, I'd say 5 hours a week of biking, and swimming per week, probably 10,000 meters per week is fine. I mean, I still do 10,000 meters. I don't think you need to do more than 10,000 meters a week of swimming to prepare for spec ops training. You're not a competitive swimmer. You don't need 20, 30,000 meters a week of swimming. You don't need 70 miles a week of running like you're a cross-country runner. If you should recommend some upper body lifts, which ones must I do? I would go with military press, deadlift. Not sure if bench is needed, maybe some weighted dips, but I'd rather ask. I do all those. In fact, you look into this, deadlifts, squats, overhead press, bench press, weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, kettlebell swings, farmer walks, all those are in there. Not a fan of running on lower body lifting days. Everybody has their own opinions on that. How much biking should you do to make up for the miles? Do you have a biking workout routine you like? I have several biking workouts I like. In fact, I just wrote a great article on the 3 I like the most. I like brick workouts where you bike and run combo. But check this out. Here's 3 bike workouts I like to do. And these are great, especially if you can't run or if you prefer not to run. These are a great way to do it. The way I do it, the ratio I do my biking when I'm replacing running is if I see on my workout, for instance, I got to run, I don't know, got to run 4 miles. That means for every mile I am missing in running, I have to make it up with 10 minutes of biking. So a 4-mile run is going to be a 40-minute bike. There you go. I think that's a fair ratio when you skip running. Let's see. I thought I saw some more stuff over here. How can I dent your beginner running program so that I can start ASAP on your advanced running program? That's a stupid question. You don't want to rush a progression of running, right? There is a standard of 10 to 15% progression each week. So, I mean, my advice is, let's say you're at 10 miles a week right now. The last thing you want to do is jump into a new program that starts you out at 20 miles a week. You know, you just doubled your amount of running in a week and probably won't feel it for the first week, maybe even the second week. But I bet you that third week, you're going to be injured with some injury, shin splints, knee tendonitis, sore feet, plantar fasciitis. Something's going to bug you. So don't rush your running progression. That is a recipe for injury. Promise you. Can't tell you how many times I've seen it, even done it myself. You don't want to do it. So be smart with it. You know, if you think the beginner running program is too easy, add miles to it. If you think the advanced running program is too hard, take off some mileage. You know, cut it by 25%. You know, these are generic running programs, and you may need to personalize it for your current abilities and progression. You know, or you pay somebody to make you a perfect running progression for your current needs. Then it's not a generic plan that you have to personalize, but that's how you do it. How long do you hold stretches for? I usually hold stretches for 2 inhale and exhale cycles. So if you were to count it, I usually don't time it. So I think that is just an annoying way to monitor, looking at a watch all the time. So about 15 seconds. So it took me 7 seconds to inhale and exhale, double that, 15 seconds. Thanks to your videos, I've improved my side stroke style. That's why I put them up there. Good job. Glad it's working. What's up, George? All right. Let's see what else we got. So for you, I'm gonna come back to you, Citrus Red, who you don't like running on leg days. That's fine. Try this. Try swimming with fins on leg days. It's awesome. I think you may really like that activity. Biking is great too. Stair stepping is also another good leg day cardio activity that you can do. But try swimming with fins. It's a great way to top off leg day. In fact, there's a couple of good articles I've written over the years topping off leg day, Stu Smith, and usually it's rucking or swimming with fins. Yeah, in fact, here's the name of the article. It's called Top Off Leg Day with These Challenging Cardio Events. Yeah, rowing would be a good one too. Let's see. Swimming after leg day. Yep, love it. I will tell you this, swimming freestyle after upper body day, not easy either. You add a long sleeve t-shirt to it, that hits different. I've been doing that lately. Like today's an upper body day, so I'll swim with a long sleeve t-shirt. Not fun. Very challenging. Um, how do you break up your week of swimming for finning and water competence activities? Well, every swim workout we do some water skill, meaning we'll warm up with a tread, we'll rest sets with bottom bounces and treading. Um, every every element of the workout has a pool skill drill to it, if that makes sense. A warm up with a tread or a cool down with a tread for 10 minutes, no hands, mix it up. If you can do that, that's a great way to start a swim workout. We do that every day. Um, and then we do the swim workout, obviously, and your rest sets can be other pool skills. But on mobility day, we'll do treading, we'll do drown proofing, we'll do life saving, we'll do knot tying, we'll do all that on our mobility day, which is once or sometimes twice a week. It's all in here. I don't hide it from people. All in these programs. I love to know a good progression method for treading as a dude that's negatively buoyant. Yeah, a lot of guys are negatively buoyant. You need to learn how to tread, meaning, if it's egg beater or it's scissor kick, either one, it's an alternating scissor kick left, scissor kick right, scissor kick left, scissor right, egg beater, basically an alternating breaststroke kick. Might need to work on your mobility so you actually can get a full range of motion kicking downward so you go up. Treading is harder when you're negative, but it's not impossible. Many people do it. Um, you can also keep air in your lungs, kind of breathe a little bit differently when you're treading. So when I have a full chest of air, that's going to make the need to kick harder there for me. So I don't need to kick as hard. And then I exhale real fast, inhale real fast, kick a little bit less. But if I exhale everything, I got to kick really hard to stay up. That's how it works. So your lungs can be buoyancy devices if you learn how to do it that way. I'm not saying hold your breath till you turn blue. Just saying breathe a little bit differently where you have a full chest of air and then you exhale, inhale real fast to get that full chest of air again. Versus about, whenever we're just hanging out talking, I probably got 30% of my lungs filled with air while I'm talking. Then need to take a breath every 10 seconds or so. That's how we do it. And you just start every swim workout with a tread and build up to 5 minutes. Next thing you know, you're doing 10-minute swims, 10-minute treads. And do it as much as you can. Do as much as you can without hands. Then if you're burnt out, take a minute, use your hands. Don't get out of the pool. Don't touch the edge. You got 5 minutes of treading. Use your hands for a minute, go back to no hands. So minute on, minute off. Is 6 months enough time to train hard for the PST? Training, running, swimming in the morning, then doing lift or hit in the afternoon. Yeah, that's plenty of time. I'd get on a PST program though. Something that looks like the PST is what I would do. If you want to specifically get good at the PST, your training should specifically look like the PST. Not every day. Work legs in there too. I'm starting your winter lift cycle. Are there accessory lifts you would recommend? I see a lot of compound lifts, but worry about muscle imbalances. Got a bad shoulder patella. Yeah, I mean, add in some lightweight shoulder workouts. That should be in there as well. I mean, if you feel like you need to add in some cable machines or, overhead press, bicep curls, add them in there. Just let it make sense. Like if you're doing upper body day, add those in there. If you're doing leg day, and you didn't feel like you got enough hip hinges, add in some RDLs. Let's see. Should we practice running on road, trail for special operations selections? Put it this way. I try to run as much as I can on softer surfaces. So tracks, grass, trails, dirt trails, beach, all of those make up probably 50, 60% of my running per week. Then I have a pavement trail that we run on, some sidewalks every now and then. But for the most part, I would say I'm running a little bit. I run a little bit on everything versus 100% on concrete, which will take its toll on you, especially if you're over 200 pounds running. Does treading mean staying off the bottom as well? Yeah, your head should be over the surface and be able to breathe when you're treading. Tread on the surface. Bottom bouncing is a different thing altogether. It is a pool skill you should learn. So you should bob up and down and you should tread. In fact, I think those two are great rest exercises in between sets of swimming. Because I promise you, bobbing is very difficult when you're winded. Because all you want to do is inhale, but you got to exhale to get to the bottom. Build some pool confidence too. Thank you for all you do. There seems to be some missing podcast content on Spotify from older episodes can be put up. Yeah, you know what? I've tried a couple of times and I'm not sure what happened to those. I mean, they're all on my YouTube channel, so you can find them on YouTube all the way back to number 1. Do I still meet at Savannah Park Community Center? Yes. Every morning, 6 a.m. If you go to heroesoftomorrow.org, you will see our schedule. All right, a few more questions and I got to go. Be back tomorrow, though, with a CSS critique show. How important is it to be able to lift heavy for selection? Seeing a lot about needing a 405 squat and deadlift. I don't think that's necessarily needed. I mean, a lot of that's going to depend on your current size anyway. Like a 150-pound dude is probably not going to squat and deadlift 405. But being able to do 1.5 to 2.0 your body weight, absolutely. You should be able to do that for multiple reps. So 200-pound dude doing 400 squat and deadlift, not that big a deal, right? It's doable. But 350 is probably good enough as well. Like somewhere between 1.5 and 2.0, your body weight is sufficient amount of strength, in my opinion. Is there any way to prepare for being cold all the time, or do you just push through it when you get there? I never prepared for it. I mean, nowadays everybody has ice baths they're doing, so I guess that's one way to do it. All right, got a few more questions, and I need to bail. Got stuff I got to do. What do you recommend for hill intervals? How long is the rest? Is the rest just jog down? Yeah, usually we just walk down the hill. We got this quarter-mile hill that's pretty tough to run up. You don't want it any steeper, put it that way. And we usually just walk down as our rest. You guys asking a lot of questions. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to all these. I'm about to run out of time here. How do I manage losing strength and production fall off in terms of running slower, being on a diet? I don't know. Keep lifting while you're on a diet. I mean, you still need to eat for fuel so you can exercise. So if you're not eating enough, probably going to be hard to exercise and you may lose some strength. So make sure you don't skimp on your protein. That's probably number 1. What's the ideal weight and body fat percentage for a 6'1" guy going to buds? I don't know. I don't know about body fat doesn't really matter. If you got a six pack, great. If you don't, who cares? I would say 6'1", probably be in the 195, 200-pound range. Be solid. I was right at 6'1", 195, 200 pounds. I, felt pretty good at that. I did dip down to 190 at one point. It was a lot faster then. But that was post dive phase and into third phase when I was at my lightest. Ran fast though, so that was good. But I was heaviest going through first phase, which I think in hindsight was helpful between all the load bearing activities and the cold water that you're exposed to. But I will tell you this, because I had a winter dive phase, I was much colder going through dive phase than I was anytime in first phase. So, sometimes that extra mass is needed. How can I push through depression when you're working out? It's really crashing my workouts. Man, I don't know. I'd talk to somebody. I will tell you this, though. I've had a really hard time being sad or depressed when I'm moving. So if you are moving and working out and still having depressive issues, that's well above my pay grade. And I would talk to a counselor and see if there's something you can do to cope with that, because I don't know. But it's real, so don't blow it off. I'm serious. Do you ever use heart rate monitor zones? I used to. Kind of got used to where my heart rate was, and haven't really done it in a while. Got a what do you call them? The little watches that were guarding my heart rate. That was pretty good, and calories and all that. But after a while, I'll be honest with you, I get a little annoyed with too much technology. Heart rate's one thing, but too much technology can be a little distracting. Kind of old school like that. All right, last question. Gotta go. Latest running PR, 2 miles, just under 15 minutes. Nice, good work. However, 12 to 17 kilograms overweight. Should I lose weight or keep running at this weight? Yeah, I wouldn't add more mileage at this weight. Lose a little bit of weight, add some miles. Um, yeah. I just keep watching your diet. It's going to be both ends of that of that equation are going to help you lose weight. That's what you are bringing in and what you're burning off. So, yeah, keep getting after it. And if you need to, let's say, you still want to do some cardio, but you don't want the impact pain of being 12, 17 kilograms overweight. That's a lot. I mean, you're talking about 30, 35 pounds overweight is not fun. I'd probably mix in some more biking and elliptical and swimming just to get extra cardio versus trying to run more at that weight. Let's see. All right, guys. I think that's it. I got everybody. I think if I missed you guys, I apologize. You can email me, stu@stusmith.com. That's where you can send some CSS critiques. If you want me to critique your CSS, send me a 50-meter video of someone walking alongside the pool filming you. Happy to tell you what you're doing right, wrong, and help you fix it. So, other than that, I got to go, folks. I'll be back tomorrow, and we will talk again, answer some questions, and show some live videos as well. So, until then, I'll see you tomorrow.